You are so beautiful, and I'm glad you joined us today because we're going to be talking with Tommie Powers, aka Tommie Traffic, who is the founder of Video Ads Academy with over 15 years experience in digital marketing. His advertising strategies have helped his high-end companies jump up the ranks in the Inc. 5000. Stay tuned, folks. You're listening to the Business of Video podcast.
You're listening to the Business of Video podcast, where the world's top YouTubers and marketers talk about what's working with online video. This podcast is recorded live on Facebook every week, and you can join us when you visit businessofvideopodcast.com. Now your host, Owen Video.
Welcome back to the Business of Video podcast, keeping you up to date with the latest and greatest news in video marketing. I'm Owen here with Nick Nimmin, and you can join us I'm Owen, and this is Nick Nimmin, and you can join us live every week on Facebook, iTunes, and YouTube. When you give me 5, that's right, just type 5 in the comment section now if you're watching us on Facebook. That will subscribe you to the show, and you'll get alerts every week when we go live. Our guest today is the traffic whisperer, Tommie Traffic, on how the right video sequencing can increase your traffic and your sales. And today, we have a very special treat. We are going to be giving away, for one lucky viewer, a ring light. This ring light right here. Well, not this ring light right here. We're going to get you a new one. This ring light right here, designed for mobile video, whether you have an iPhone or a Samsung device. One lucky winner is going to get a ring light tonight. Just type #ring in the comment section when you hear something that rings true for you. You like how we did that, Nick, with the rings true for you?
That was beautiful. Beautifully crafted, beautifully done. I'm blown away by the smoothness of how well that came together.
It was butter. It was butter.
It was. As it was coming out of your mouth, I'm sitting here thinking like, man, I should have shared this just like a few seconds earlier so more people could get that. Hopefully they'll catch it on the replay because that was spectacular.
You know what? It's truly a lesson in excellence, folks. And I'm glad that you're here with us today. We've got a great show. Tommie Powers, you guys met recently, but I've known him for a long time. He's always been spectacular with the content that he busts out. And I think we're going to really hear some new and exciting stuff today. So, guys, #ring in the comment section if you want to go home with a ring light today. And some really great stuff happening in the news that we should talk about. Well, YouTube, in their effort to piss more people off, has really struck a chord with a lot of these YouTube networks. YouTube networks have dropped thousands of creators as the YouTube policy has shifted. Have you heard about this, Nick?
Yes, I have.
Incredible. Now, I don't know if any of you guys are with a YouTube network like these different YouTube network. What they do is, you know, as a new YouTuber, like, you can't even get monetized, right? You can't even get monetized. But if you join a network and that network is monetized, then you can sort of take share in some of the revenue and start to earn money there. With these new policy shifts, YouTube has sort of forced these networks to drop hundreds of creators per network, which is thousands across the entire nation, which means, again, more creators are just losing their lunch on YouTube. Nick, what do we do about it?
Yeah, it's a ripple effect. You know, it's a ripple effect, you know, when situations like that happen, when, you know, if YouTube changes a policy and it affects at, you know, one level to where it becomes a bad business decision to keep a lot of creators on, then of course, you know, it makes sense that the networks would end up cutting their losses, so to speak, by not having those creators on their platforms as well. So, right. You know, I mean, it's a business decision. It's unfortunate, you know, just like all of this stuff has been, you know, it's all been business-based decisions, you know, for the sake of the long-term good, so to speak. And unfortunately, when something like that happens, you know, a lot of people that are still on the grind, still on their thing, still trying to, you know, make it all happen. They are the people in any situation, you know, like if any big changes are made in any place in society, it's always the people kind of at the bottom of the ladder that always end up, you know, taking the heat for it. And YouTube is seems to be no different.
Oh my goodness gracious! And you know what? Tim Schmoyer brought up a great point. We're in a group with Tim Schmoyer, and he brought up a great point that there are better ways to monetize than waiting on YouTube AdSense. And I hope that you guys, as new creators, as burgeoning creators, like you're starting to look at ways that you can monetize outside of AdSense, right? Because there's more fruitful ways to advertise outside of AdSense.
Yeah. And another thing too, I mean, just to mention it, and we didn't even plan this, this just happened to happen as it did. But like, as you can see here, he was asking me earlier about my Streamlabs shirt. Like Streamlabs is another one to where they basically circumvent YouTube to where you can take like PayPal donations and things like that during live streams so that you don't even have to rely on Super Chat. So, you know, things like that, you know, even at that level, even just live streaming, you can get a little bit of money from your fans and things like that from live streaming through a service like that. Of course, like Owen and I always talk about, you know, you can do affiliate marketing through your stuff. You can build your own products at the very base. You know, go back and watch 2 episodes back, Owen, where he was on here talking about Amazon merch and how to do it with Amazon merch and use your channel as the top of funnel, so to speak. Just constantly be sending people to your Amazon merch store. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways to do it. And by passively letting changes like this have that negative effect on you and taking it personally in terms of, well, YouTube doesn't want me on the platform, or YouTube's out to get me, or YouTube is trying to do this, that, and the other thing, change your way of thinking and think of it in terms of, okay, so I lost a little bit of AdSense money. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use this time to say, okay, well, they did this and they took this away from me. So what I need to do is I need to think of a handful of different things that I can do that are going to bring in multiple different sources of things off of my YouTube channel, so that I don't have to rely on ads. And if they do make a change that's related to that, it's not going to have at least as big of an impact on me.
That's right. Offset your risk, you know, offset your risk by creating multiple streams of income. And that's not a joke. In fact, you know, I was recently invited to speak at ClamorCon, which is an event for YouTubers. It's not an open invite, right? You have to be invited to this event. I was lucky enough to be noticed at a conference where I spoke, and the CEO asked me to come speak on monetization tactics because these YouTubers are losing so much money. And so I sent him a list of 7 different things, and it was only 7, but it was like, hey, here are the things where we're seeing so much result. You know, membership sites, affiliate marketing, merch, and these different types of things. In fact, one of my good buddies, Jeff Weiss over at the Weiss Live, who runs a great little family vlog over there, he was watching my podcast on the Be Live show, and he goes, hey man, I was wearing a white t-shirt, and he goes, you got lots of dead space there. He's like, you got to put your name, you got to put your merch, you got to wear your merch on your show. And I go, you know what, like, again, another fantastic idea. You know, all these little things, money needs to come in every single door and every single window. So guys, get creative, You know, YouTube is basically saying, hey, unless you're major, it's going to be tough to make money on this platform. So find new ways. YouTube is screaming at you to find new ways to monetize, because it ain't going to be on the platform. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a slow road, you know, even if you are saying, okay, well, you know what, I am going to stick it out and I am going to go through the process of, you know, making sure that I can get ads rolling and getting consistent views coming in so that I can get paid and things like that. Even if you do decide to go that route, you should still, I mean, this is the business of video podcast, right? So so you should still not only do ads, you should still look for these other opportunities. If you're making ad money or not, even if you're making a lot of ad money, you're crazy to miss out on all of the other options that you have. And like Owen was saying, you know, get creative, because the opportunity is out there and there's a ton of ways that you can make money from your YouTube channel outside of ads. You're right. And you don't want to wake up in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years and realize how much money you've left on the table, right? Because once that money starts to come in, you know, you're in a whole new place, aren't you, right? Like as soon as you start making money from your channel, whether it's from AdSense or from client work or from your Patreon, right? All of a sudden, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, this is really easy money to make.
Yeah.
And
the thing is too, you know, it can be, you know, a few $100 here, $1,000 here, a couple $100 here, a couple $100 here. And then by the time it all compiles at the end of the month, you're like, wow, I don't need a job. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Right.
You know what I mean? So, guys, think about that. You know, YouTube, we're grateful for what they do, but you know, it's changing. Times they are changing, and so you got to be looking at different ways that you can monetize, and you're going to learn tons of that today and on every episode of the Business of Video podcast. That's why this podcast exists, is to help you with the business side of your video marketing. So that's something I think you guys should take away, and here's something I think you should not take away. Okay, never ever ever play with a gun on live internet TV. Okay, look at this next story. Man shot on Facebook Live is now breathing completely on his own and following commands. May it never be said about me, okay, that Owen is breathing on his own and following commands. You know, that's not a good day for me if that's where I'm at. So the story is this, is some dude and his two friends were playing with the gun. They were playing Thug Life on Facebook Live, and he was accidentally shot.
Wow.
In the head. He's now in the hospital. He's alive, and we're grateful for that. We don't ever want to see anybody die in any kind of violence, much less accidental violence. Yeah. And we're glad to hear this live. But this is not the first time this has happened, right? This guy, remember that dude last year that killed himself? He tried to have like his girlfriend shot him through a book, and the bullet penetrated the book and killed him.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's crazy. Yeah. Be careful out there, folks. Be careful out there.
There's got to be a better way to get views on Facebook Live.
Right. To get views on everything. It's like, just try it on something different. You don't have to go that route. That's for sure.
You know,
high risk stakes right there.
Guys, yeah. You are playing with fire out there. And we just want to encourage all of you guys to be safe and remember that you are worth tomorrow, right? You are worth being here tomorrow, and to have, to just do some good content. That's all you've got to do, is to do some good content. And this inflammatory stuff is just not gonna work out. I get so upset when I see this stuff, because you're gonna get these younger YouTubers, these younger Facebook livers, and they're going, oh, I could do that without being, destroyed. And I don't know. It's risky business, folks. It's risky business. I wouldn't recommend it. Lots of big stuff happened in the news today, guys. Stay tuned for tons more. We've got Tommie Traffic coming up on the Business of Video podcast. Hey, if you're just joining us, welcome to the show. We're going to be giving away an iPhone, or it's actually used for any mobile phone. We'll be giving away a ring light today. Just type the word #ring into the comment section now, and we're going to pick a winner at the end of the show. Type in that hashtag as many times as you want. We're going to pick one lucky winner from all the different comments. We're going to send you home with the ring light today. This thing is USB chargeable. It has 3 different levels of service. I love this thing. We actually took this to a sponsored deal that we had over at a local business, and it was too dark to shoot. And so what I did is I busted out my ring light, right? You put it onto your phone like this, and you've got 3 different levels, and now you're shooting with the light on your face. It's USB chargeable. You can charge it on your car on the way, and we're going to send this out to one of you. We're not going to give you this one. I got a brand new one for you. We're going to ship it directly to your house. Just type #ring like BJ Womack, Barbara Leone, and Heidi Loney have. Jason Rodriguez is out there watching. Guys, I love it. You can type in that hashtag as often as you like. In fact, whenever you hear Tommie, Nick, or me say something that rings true for you, use the #ring and let us know what you heard. I love seeing these things come in. Barb Ireland is out there watching. Rigor is out there watching. I always get awkward. Nick, do you get awkward when you can't pronounce someone's last name?
Man, anytime, it's intimidating. Like, anytime you see a name in a live chat and you say, okay, I'm going for it. And it's like, oh gosh, I hope I didn't just screw that up. Yeah, it's hilarious. I love it. And I always put in the disclaimer, like, hey, if I'm butchering your name, I apologize. And then I try to move forward. But yeah, man, it's intimidating, because it's, especially when you see the long ones, because you're like, oh, I know I'm just going to destroy this one. Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I'm not going to say his name. I don't want to say his name. But he's like, I got to say his name. He's watching the show. He's commenting. You know what I mean? Right. totally get that. I totally get that. Hey, guys, if you're enjoying the show today, be sure to share it on your timeline right now. Click that share button. Tag someone you know. Help us get the word out. We've got an amazing guest today, Tommie Traffic, a.k.a. Tommie Powers. This guy is incredible. He carries just an amazing energy about him, and we're going to get to that right now. Tommie Powers, a.k.a. Tommie Traffic, is the founder of Video Ads Academy with over 15 years experience in digital marketing. As a result of spending north of $50 million, his advertising strategies have been used to catapult one of his clients to number 134 on the Inc. 5000 list in just 2 years. He's been able to scale multiple 7- and 8-figure brands and has worked with top growth hackers in Silicon Valley. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Tommie Powers. Tommie, great to have you on the show today. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I gave sort of like the quick bio, but give us a quick snapshot into who you are and what you do.
That's the good snapshot. I think I'm just a regular, small town Mississippi boy, man, trying to make his mama proud. I got 3 kids. That's my world. I'm married. So, trying to create a legacy. It's not, not a whole lot to me, man. I'm just really passionate about the work that I do, the people that I work with, just trying to leave a mark. I want to be talked about. I want my kids to be talking, and be saying like, I remember, my ancestor, he did this and he did that. Cause, I have some of that in my family. So it's kind of amazing that we have people that I'm talking about 100, 200 years later. So I want to be one of those. And so that's kind of, who I am.
That's hot, man.
Nice.
Hot, man. I think it's going to be easy for my kids. I've bronzed a statue of myself in their bedroom.
Right.
I don't have any kids, so it's going to be really easy for mine.
Yeah, you nailed it, Nick.
Yeah.
Tommie, you've been doing a lot of work. I mean, you talk about people talking about you. I've seen you speak at Vid Summit, a few other conferences. I see you at Traffic and Conversion, and we've always got some things to talk about because you're working and you're in the game of YouTube ads, and that's really a lot of untapped territory. Would you agree?
I agree. I totally agree.
What's keeping people away from YouTube ads?
It's a lot of things. Number one, all the gurus aren't talking about it. A lot of people just, in the herd mentality, you know what I'm saying? So everyone follows the herd. So everyone talks about Facebook. That's what everybody follows. Number two, video is, it takes more effort to really create video. So the level that we do video, I mean, we test a lot. And so you can imagine like how much we have to invest in video assets to be able to test a lot of different messages and things like that. So that's a challenge for a lot of people. And the third one is the long game. People aren't playing the long game. They get spoiled by the cheap conversions, if you will, on Facebook, which don't get me wrong. We do Facebook. I love Facebook. But my data proves that the customer value long term is greater on YouTube than any other traffic source, actually, that I've seen, at least social media traffic source. If you talk about Google search, that's like the best converting traffic you can buy, hands down, period. Right. But, when you start talking about social media, YouTube compared to Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and every other thing that I've tried, like the customer value is just way higher. And I guess it's because you tell a story through video, people can get to know you, that kind of thing. But like, man, like the customer value is just way higher, but you have to be in the long game to get that. So a question that I ask a lot of people a lot of times is, because I get challenged on this, would you rather pay $20 for a customer that's worth $50, or would you rather pay $50 for a customer that's worth $200? And everybody was like, I would pay okay. So that's the reality of how you have to look at each traffic source is different. You may be paying more on YouTube, but how much is that customer is that actually worth? And if you go and look at the data, it's going to be a lot more valuable. And so, but you have to buy into that for the long game. You're not really caught up in cheap traffic and cheap conversions and whatnot. And so that's another like huge reason.
and cancellations out the nose, right?
Yep.
Playing stuff on YouTube with the money back guarantee, hashtag ring for that, guys. Hashtag ring. YouTube ads provide a better, more profitable client. So if you have questions for Tommie Traffic, aka Tommie Powers, ask them in the comment section now, because we want to have you guys run the show. Otherwise, I got tons of questions for you. It's funny, Tommie, because Tommie Traffic's a great name, but so is Tommie Powers. I wish I was Owen Powers. That's
a good one.
Right.
Strength there. But let's talk about what types of products sell well with YouTube ads.
Everything.
Really?
It's not about a particular product or anything about that. It's something we were discussing, before the show. It always boils down to message and the offer. That's really at the end of the day. Do you have something, meaning your offer, that your market wants, needs, desires at a high level? Number two, can you communicate a message to that audience to make them see that?
Yeah.
That's really, there's obviously other things, but those are the big two. If you nail those, traffic is no longer, I tell people all the time, traffic is a commodity. You can buy as much or as little as you want. It's like sugar or flour or anything. Like, you want to buy $1 million worth of sugar? Somebody will sell it to you. Traffic is the same way, so the whole Tommie Traffic thing, everybody know they need traffic, but traffic is a commodity. How can you convert traffic into a commodity in your world? Because at the end of the day, that's what it boils down to. And usually it's the two big things of message and offer.
So run us through maybe a case study or a story of an ad that worked exceptionally well for you. What did that ad look like, sound like, feel like? Help us get a sense of if we were going to run ads on YouTube, what would be a good starting point to sort of mimic a successful campaign?
Let's see. So some of my best ads that you would mimic. It's a good question.
I can be more specific. Shorter ads or longer ads, in display or pre-roll ads?
So short versus long, typically it's not about the video length. It's more about what you're selling. So give you an example. Let's say you have a marketing agency, right? Let's just use that as an example. And you're trying to attract $1,000 a month client versus an e-commerce $20 widget. You don't need a 10-minute video to sell a $20 widget, but you might need a 10-minute video, or you might need a sequence of, you might need 3 or 4 or 5 to 10-minute videos to sell a $1,000 thing. That's just kind of what it is. It's kind of like, think about sales, sales 101. Like, the bigger the commitment on the price, typically the more objections you got to overcome, the more conversation you got to have to really close the deal. So you got to think about your video in the same regard.
So expand on that a little bit. Nick, if you got questions, jump in and cut me off.
Yeah, sure.
I love this topic. We're running YouTube ads right now for a couple clients. We're spending, 5 figures a month on YouTube right now.
Okay.
And I'm really wanting to dial this in. So you mentioned ad sequencing. What's that about?
It's sales 101 in video format. I call it the silent salesman strategy. It's, if you got a sales guy, what is he doing? He calling people, he following up, he overcoming objections. Think about car sales. And I really got this concept from a friend of mine who's a car salesman. He's been doing this about, 15 years. And he told me one time, he said that when someone comes in the dealership, he has a 12-point system that he take them through.
Yeah.
And he knows within 5 minutes if they're going to buy or not.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how you know? He's like, because it's all based on objections. And based on how they respond, I know. So we got to really talking about that. And he was just talking about how his 12-step system is really designed to take away the 12 most common objections people give when they want to buy a car, but they're not maybe going to buy it from you or whatever the case may be.
Right.
They want the car, but they need to know these 12 common things. So he knows within the first one or two things if they're going to buy or not based on their response. And I was like, wow. And it was just something that stuck with me. And so I've ever since integrated that into my, digital marketing, so we use a lot of that with remarketing where, we'll put a message out, people won't convert. We'll take those people that don't convert, and then we'll communicate with them again. So what a lot of people do with remarketing is they just shove one message back in people's face. And then, they just do that until I guess they hammer people until they don't work no more. But what we like to do is create conversations. When you're talking about social media, that's what these objection sequence kind of messages do. Now you can talk about these reasons why people didn't convert. And now you can have like these touch points and you're kind of creating a conversation. You're building trust in the whole nine.
So with that, what you're saying, just to make sure I'm understanding this correctly. So basically you're saying you have your initial ad that you hit them with, and then based on, of course, if they're not responding to that ad in any way, then you hit them with a completely different ad. Is that what you're saying? And then you have basically like a series of different ads that you make in order to communicate the different objections that they may have for the particular product. Am I understanding that correctly?
One thing in that though is I want them to engage on some level. Otherwise, there's no point in me showing the ad. If they don't, if I show them the initial ad and they don't, watch it or interact, for example, like on Facebook, we may say we want them to watch at least 50% of the video before we show them the next ad. But yeah, in essence, what you're saying is exactly it.
Okay.
So with that 12-step process, right? He's got this 12-step sales system. Does that convert into 12 ads? Is that what I'm hearing? Or maybe that's 3 ads that each approach 4 objections. What direction would we go with that? So
for a car, you can imagine it's a big commitment. For a home, you can imagine that's a big commitment. Oh. So if I'm running an ad for a $20 e-commerce widget, I'm not going to create a 5-part sequence for that. I might hit them with like one ad. You know what I'm saying? If I'm selling $1,000 a month, marketing package, I might need 5 or 6. I mean, it just really depends on how many objections there are. But usually it's the same thing, like the length of your video. Your sequence is also going to be dictated by the commitment level of your product, a price point more than anything. Price point, though, the bigger the price, the more commitment that they have to make, the more conversation you need to have with them. So it's kind of the same thing. So that's what your sequence is really based on.
So with let's say that you have like an actual physical product, and let's say it's like in the $50 to $100 range for something like that. From your experience in different industries, do you have like a recommendation for that in terms of how many videos that you would create for something around that price point for an actual physical product versus something digital?
Yeah, I'll give you a great example. So part of it is knowing, a big part of it actually is knowing why people don't convert. What are their objections? So this company, Organifi, that I helped really kind of scale the company, I worked with them for about 3.5 years. One of the things that we did is we found out there were 2 reasons why people didn't convert. So they have a green juice supplement. They have a lot of other stuff now, but at the time we were really focused on the green juice. It was price and taste. So their price was probably double the average competitor. Okay. And then green juice, inherently, people think it tastes like crap. Yeah. Those are the 2 big objections. And so we did really well by addressing those through that. And so, again, we just had to find out why aren't people converting? And there's a lot of ways to do that. Talking to your customers, why did they buy? Surveying your email list if you got email people who haven't bought from you, putting chat box on your site, catching people leaving. It's a lot of different things you can do to get that feedback, but you got to figure out why people don't convert. and then you can create. But we knew it was two big reasons. So that was a $57.95 at the time. And then it goes all the way up to like two something if they want to buy like 6 bottles or something like that. But the price point is about $50-$60. So we needed 2 for that one.
So
nice.
Talking with Tommie Powers, aka Tommie Traffic, we're talking about YouTube ads, and we're giving away a mobile phone ring light with 3 different levels of lights for you to use in your mobile shooting. Just use the code word #ring in the comment section whenever you hear Tommie say something that rings true for you. And Vicky and Barbara and Barb Ireland, you guys are crushing it out there. You can use the hashtag as many times as you want. Tommie, you know, when it comes to the YouTube ad, talk to us about like, driving traffic off of YouTube. It's not necessarily like Facebook where you're seeing something in your newsfeed. It's easy. It's common to kind of like click out to a blog, but on YouTube, people are used to sitting on YouTube. So in a pre-roll environment, in a pre-roll ad, how are you getting people to go off of YouTube to engage with the product? Are you asking them to click through? Is it more important to get them to watch a video and then call to action a minute in, or is it more important to get them to that call to action in the first 10 seconds? What are your thoughts, Tommie Traffic?
Again, the length of your video is indicative of what you're selling, right? So, and you can do 1-minute videos depending. So I give you an example, like an automated webinar. I got a lot of guys that I've taught who study under me. You know, I don't have clients anymore, but like I've worked with people in that capacity. Right. You can run a 1 or 2 minute video because a commitment to opt in for a webinar is not very high. You get what I'm saying? Even though we might get them on a webinar and sell them $1,000, $2,000 thing, the commitment to get the commitment that we're asking for is just to register. So we can use a 2-minute video for that. But what you have to do, you want to capture their attention. You want to communicate what's in it for them, because people they're watching cat videos. They don't really care about you, right? So, you know, first you got to get their attention. And when you do that, what's in it for them? And then, you get into the story, the message, and then your call to action. There's 2 things you got to do. You got to tell them where to click, and you got to show them where to click. That's been a big lift for us from a conversion standpoint, being able to boost our click-through rates. Yeah.
Huge. And guys, I want to apologize.
By telling them, go ahead, Owen.
I just want to apologize for the scrolling lower third, the type 5 to subscribe. We, of course, want you to subscribe, but it's stuck. We can't move it. We can't show your comments. So a little technical error. Just wanted to apologize for that if you guys are seeing that. I hope it's not too distracting. But we're talking with Tommie Traffic, a.k.a. Tommie Powers, about YouTube ads. And, Nick, you had a question.
Yeah, where I would like to expand on telling them where to click. So, or telling them and showing them where to click. So what you're saying by that is, just to make sure I'm understanding this right, is you're saying that, of course, you want to say, make sure that you click wherever in the video. But when you're saying that you also show like a screenshot as an example, and you show the mouse actually clicking exactly what it is that you want them to click once they get there.
There's a lot of really creative ways to do that, but you can either physically point if so if you're on mobile, it's like right there in the screen, right? If you're facing my screen, if you're on desktop, it's going to be, lower right-hand corner. So, or you can put an icon or an arrow or whatever creative way that you want to, if there's a GIF or something you can do that's modeling, showing them it's moving and whatnot. You can get really creative with that. But you have to tell them, and then you have to show them through some means. And it's probably more, it's good to point, but it's even more powerful when you give them like a visual, something like an arrow or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Do you separate your desktop and your mobile ads for that reason?
100%.
So talk about that a little bit.
So mobile, if you look at on a mobile device or in the app, if you ever see the little visit advertiser link, it'll be like right there. And you also got cards if you want to use those. Call to action overlay. They also work on mobile, but I find sometimes they don't function as well on mobile for some. I don't know if it functions well or whatever it is, but what I found is that when we tell them to click here on mobile, those get a higher click-through rate. And then we have another version on desktop. But again, now that means you got to create 2 videos. So,
right.
So some people might just say, depending on where you are, but if you're really savvy, you'll create 2 versions of the video. You'll only run one on mobile and you'll only run one on desktop. But that's, like I say, I'm a media buyer, so I think like that, right?
You have any in terms of the quality of the ad? Can a talking head mobile video perform just as well as a high production we paid a company video?
I've seen some of the best videos be like holding the phone with the black on the side. I've seen people walk around with the phone, holding it up like walking selfie, talking into the camera, being some of the most highest converting ads. And I think the other thing that I've noticed lately, and you guys probably know more about this than me, the vloggers are constantly changing the view and they're turning and they're doing things. I've noticed like videos where we're constantly, kind of every, 15, 20 seconds, there's a different spin on it. Or even if you turn it like this and then you turn around, you're moving, you're walking. I see the vloggers doing it, and I'm assuming that the people on the YouTube platform are used to that type of thing, but it's been working really well. So a lot of like, not just like completely changing, but like whenever you're repositioning or changing your camera angle or whatever the case may be, people, psychologically, they're picking up on that. I guess it just kind of keeps them drawn in for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's more interesting for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been noticing that too. A lot of the vloggers because we just launched our family vlog over at Them Hemsaths on YouTube. And we're trying to keep it all professional and fun and whatnot. But I'm noticing a lot of these vloggers, they'll fully kind of be like, let me run across my house with my phone.
Yes.
And it's like, and people are watching. It's like not even a big deal. And I'm not sure that would even work on Facebook. And there's like a real life thing to it.
Yep.
We've got a lot of great stuff happening in the comments. I want to say what's up to J. Dave, Brian White, BJ Waymack, Jason Rodriguez is asking a lot of great questions. Bob Arlen and Vicky Seifers. We're not able, for whatever reason, our comments aren't working, so we're not able to pop it up, but we wanted to give you guys Air 5. So glad you're out there watching today. Let's talk about storytelling, right? What are your thoughts on storytelling, Tommie Powers?
Hey, it's everything. Stories sell. Facts. Facts are great, but stories is what convert. You want facts, especially when they're third-party people. So we talk about Cisco. I think we mentioned that, or I don't know, maybe we haven't talked about that yet, but like I can go out and say Cisco report because you don't have to believe me. But that fact will get you to listen to what I got to say. Now I got you hooked in. I can tell you a story that can get you to convert.
Right. So you're using like a stat, like I think you had provided us a stat early on about video. Video will be 82% of all traffic online by 2020.
Yes. Or 2021, I think it is.
2021. And that's Cisco reports. And
correct.
Like a hook. Is that what you're saying?
100%.
So you would put in terms of structure, you would put the fact first as kind of like the attention grabber, and then you drop the story after that, or you would mix the facts into the story that you're telling, or a little bit of both. For
my market, yeah, I would probably test test a lot of different ones, but for the sake of discussion, because a lot of people may not be, trying to be Tommie Traffic level, right? But I would definitely for our market, I can borrow Cisco's credibility because it's relevant to what I have to offer.
Right.
So I can lead with it. And I have been doing that when I'm speaking, when I'm on podcasts, when I'm doing whatever. I say that to people and they be like, you know, and they can't dispute it, right? And people's like, wow, I didn't know that. Now you need this. Now that you know that, now you need to understand why I'm so screaming so heavy about these video ads and why you need to be on it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
So what are the different types of ads we can buy on YouTube? Talk about the ad inventory that's available there.
So it's recently changed. Now they call it True View for in-stream, True View for well, I don't know if it's True View anymore, but it's video discovery. Right. You have bumper ads and you have what's called outstream ads as well. So a lot of really cool stuff. The bumper ads are only 6 seconds.
Right. And those are
they're non-skippable, correct. Outstream are sort of like bumpers, but they don't run on YouTube. They run on Google Display Network.
Okay.
You know, video discovery are you're watching a video on a watch page and all of your recommended videos down the side, and you got like the ad that pops up at the top of the recommend. Those are video discovery. And then in-stream are the ones that, you know, you got to wait 5 seconds to skip.
Right.
Those are all of the kind of like ad format. Oh, and then there's which is freaking amazing, Google shopping for video. So you can have a e-commerce, you put your product feed in the merchant center connected to AdWords account. Now you can set up a video and you can run your ad and it'll show all of your product feed right under your video. It's freaking crazy. So so those are super hot.
Oh, okay. So walk me through it, because I've seen that and I love it. And so how do you say you got to connect it to an AdWords account and anybody can do this?
Yeah, well, so Google has something called Google Merchant Center. That is where you upload your product feed. So if you use something like Shopify, there's an app for that, right? You can attach this app to your Shopify store, and then you can use that to upload the feed in the Merchant Center. Merchant Center is how Google delivers shopping ads. When you see the Google shopping ads, you'll see like the headline, it'll have a product image in there, a price, a brand name. That is a product feed. That feed is what Google is pulling from to display that. So in order to run that on AdWords, whether it's Google Shopping or YouTube, you have to then connect your Merchant Center with your AdWords account.
That's huge.
Then once you do that, you can run what's called, you can run regular Google Shopping. So if you ever search Google and you see the ads popping up, those Google Shopping ads, but now you can also, where you've been able to do this, but it's just way more cooler now, where you can run a video and you can have your feed, your product feed displayed along with your video. Super powerful.
Now, can you only your products with your video, or can I, like, if I'm selling headphones and ring lights and things like this, can I target other people's channels and have my products display under their videos?
Yes. You just have to have a video. You're still running video.
Got it.
So you still have to have, but there's also like some of these shopping ads, there's multiple different people being pulled to a video. So your ad might be it might be four little ads. You might be one of them, and there may be 3 other brands with those other little areas right there. Sometimes what they'll do is they'll use YouTube as a if you're running Google Shopping, YouTube will be a place where that will run on as well. But with shopping, you can't pick and choose. They kind of automatically place your ads for you.
Got it.
But with video, you can be specific. I want to show my video on this particular channel, and when you do, I want you to show my products. It's freaking crazy.
I freaking love that, man.
Nice.
Just see it on these ads, and it's always so relevant. I'll be watching some ad about a mixer or like instructionals, right? Because we just bought a whole bunch of gear for our live stream studio. And then I'll be watching like how to get that gear to work. And all of a sudden there's all these supplemental items, like 1/4-inch adapters and HDMI cords, like really, really popular items that I would buy. And I get a lot of questions on how to get that moving. If you're just joining, we're talking with Tommie Powers, aka Tommie Traffic, about YouTube ads. And we're giving away a ring light here We're giving away a ring light. If you want to win, just use the hashtag ring, whenever you hear Tommie, me, or Nick say something that rings true for you. Our lower thirds are stuck here, folks. We've had this type 5 to subscribe on the screen for the last like 44 minutes. It's stuck. We can't get it down, but we've got an amazing conversation happening. Barb Ireland, J. Dave, Jason Rodriguez, Carlos Cepeda has joined us. So good to have you guys out there. And if you got a question, Dan Norton, you got a question for Tommie Traffic, ask it in the comments section now. Specific videos can be targeted. J. Dave, yes. Let's talk about targeting, as a matter of fact. Tommie, how does targeting work on YouTube ads?
So I call it my targeting timeline. Remarketing, obviously people been to your website or have watched videos on your channel. You can show them ads. That's usually where I like to start because that's a warm list.
Right.
Then we have from our remarketing, and there's a gazillion ways to do remark. I mean, there's like you can remarket to someone who commented on a video. You know, it's crazy like what you can do, but you know, I won't go into the weeds on that. The next favorite for me is placements. So that's where I can go and tell Google AdWords, show my video on this specific video because I know this video is super extreme relevant to my thing. I can get super laser targeted prospects in front of laser targeted prospects. Right. It's not a scale strategy. I always like to preface that because I'm known as a scale guy. I mean, we've spent, you know, millions of dollars on YouTube, 10, 15, 20 grand a day, that kind of stuff.
Wow.
That's not something you can do with place. It's really difficult to scale to that level with placements. But if you're talking about ROI, I mean, placements is where you want to be after remarketing placements. And then from there, there's keywords. I love keyword targeting.
You find a good return on keyword targeting.
Oh, absolutely.
That's interesting.
Absolutely.
Is that more for a product or for a service or for an opt-in?
For the longest time, keywords were the best performing thing for me. Yeah, 100% keyword. I mean, here's the other thing, Owen, like we're spending the money to buy the data and then we're optimizing. So keyword targeting is not going to be a campaign you're going to run and immediately get the return on. Right. Typically, we're having to optimize our way into that, but you have to be willing to buy the data to be able to do that. Okay. If you want like immediate ROI, remarketing and placements, if you can't get those two to convert, something's wrong with your message or something's wrong with your offer.
And by placements, you're talking about putting your ads, putting your videos in front of or next to channels or specific videos.
Correct.
Do you find one is more effective than the other, like targeting channels or targeting specific individual videos?
I find specific videos. Here's why. If you Google, so YouTube is driven by suggestions. You guys know this. The next big thing is search. It's the second largest search engine behind Google itself, YouTube, right? So what we like to do is we like to find all of the terms that people are searching for. Yeah. And then we want to get all of those videos to get in front of. So what you're really doing is you're getting in front of people who are actively kind of looking for a solution. That is why I believe it converts so much better. I mean, my data shows that it converts better, but that is why I believe it converts so much better. These are people that are actively searching.
Yeah, that makes total sense because if you were going to run something on a channel, that person might make something that isn't relative to what it is that you're selling. But if you're targeting a video that you've personally said, okay, I'm going to look for a solution to this problem, and that video is at the top of that list, and you're targeting that with that product that also solves the solution. Yeah, it makes total sense.
Yep,
absolutely.
That's it.
Tommie, you are blowing us up with killer stuff today. We've really enjoyed having you on the show.
I appreciate being on the show.
Yeah, if we want to find out, more about you, where can we find you? What how can people get in touch with you? What do you have? Like what is it that you are that you're doing? Because I know you have a course that you run people through. Like, can you tell us a little bit about that real quick?
Yeah, Tommie Traffic or Tommie Powers. My name, Tommie with the IE. I'm pretty easy to find. Ain't too many people named Tommie that look like me. I'm a big, tall, black dude with a bald head. Not hard to find. I have your Video Ads Academy. That's my program. That's videoadsacademy.com. There's a lot coming with that. I got my first live event we're doing here next month here in Atlanta. That's really exciting. There's a lot of exciting things happening with YouTube right now. So we're in the process with Video Ads Academy of bringing all of this goodness to the table. And what we're really about is what we do and what we run. We teach what we do. We don't teach theory. Right. That's just not what it's about. So, and I got a network of people who's part of my community. You know, some of these guys are, you know, doing millions in their own right, buying video. A lot of guys on Facebook who really want to transition over to YouTube. I got a lot of people that I've trained over the years that are out there crushing it. So yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty cool stuff, man. We're having a lot of fun.
Well, we put the link to your course in the comment section. We'll pin it to the top in just a moment here. Guys, go check out Tommie Powers on Facebook. Check out Video Ads Academy. See if it's right for you and start crushing on YouTube ads. It's time to pick a winner of the ring light giveaway. Can we get a drum roll, please? And the winner is Vicky Seifers for her comment. Ring moving video works best. Reposition as you're recording. Just don't swirl. Vicky, reach out to me. Just email me on Facebook directly through Messenger. Send me your address, and we will send you this beautiful, well, not this one. We're going to send you a new one, ring light that'll work for your mobile device. And we're so excited that we get to give you the tools that'll help you make better video for your business. Tommie Traffic, enjoyed having you on the show today. I hope that you'll come back again and stay in touch with us. Always good to see you. Nick, you're doing amazing things. You make my heart flitter and flutter. Guys, we'll see you next week on the Business of Video podcast, live on Facebook. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to the Business of Video podcast. If you like the show, give us a review on iTunes or share this episode on social media now. Join us next time on Facebook Live. Just visit businessofvideopodcast.com and subscribe to the newsletter updates. This podcast is brought to you by Tuber Tools and BizTubeAcademy.com.